Welcome back, everyone. We're doing another deep dive today, and
Hmm.
this one is a little bit out there, honestly.
Oh,
It's about UFO sightings,
okay.
but specifically UFO sightings that are allegedly
Hmm.
connected to former U.S. President Donald Trump.
Interesting.
So, yeah, a listener sent in this article from a website run by Scott Seawaring.
Right.
And, Seawaring, he's a pretty well-known figure in the ufology community.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah, so in this article, he's basically laying out all these sightings, and he's kind of suggesting that these UFOs might have had a hand
Yeah.
in Trump's, his political success.
Wow.
So buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
I am ready. Let's hear it.
Okay, so the first sighting that Seawaring talks about in this article describes a white, disc-shaped UFO.
Classic.
Yeah, right? Like the stereotypical
Right.
flying saucer.
Yep.
So it was spotted near Trump's plane as was landing in Washington, D.C. back on January 19th, 2017.
Okay.
Now, get this. The article says this was actually broadcast on Fox News.
Sure.
Yeah, but of course now the original footage is basically impossible to find.
Of course.
You know how these things go.
I do. It's always the way with these more sensational sightings, isn't it? They get picked up by the media, everyone gets all excited, and then poof, the footage disappears.
Right. It's almost like it adds to the mystery, you know?
Exactly. It just fuels the speculation, makes people wonder if there's something being covered up.
Well, that's what we're here to try to figure out. Now, this next sighting,
Okay.
it gets even crazier.
Okay, lay it on me.
Same video, okay?
Right.
A darker UFO this time, and it's described as nearly colliding with Trump's plane.
Whoa, hold on. Nearly colliding. That's a little more than just a sighting, isn't it?
Uh,
That sounds potentially dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And Seawaring really plays up the speed of this thing, like it wasn't just some slow-moving object, it was zipping by.
That definitely adds another layer to it. In ufology, the speed and maneuverability of a UFO are often seen as pretty important factors when you're trying to assess the credibility of a sighting.
Right, like if it's just kind of floating there, it could be a lot of things, but if it's making these crazy, impossible movements,
Exactly. That's when people start talking about advanced technology, potentially beyond what we humans are capable of.
okay, so we've got these two sightings.
A white disk and a darker, faster one.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then Seawaring, he goes on to connect these sightings with another one that supposedly happened near Trump's helicopter during his campaign.
So 3 sightings in total.
Yep.
And what's his conclusion?
Well, he seems pretty convinced that all of this points to some kind of extraterrestrial influence on Trump's, like, his whole rise to power.
Whoa, hold on. He's saying aliens helped Trump become president.
That's what it sounds like. He even says that, get this, he says that aliens have the ability to manipulate metal and control human thoughts.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty big claim. And I have to say, there's really no scientific evidence to support any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely out there, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think about, like, what if? What if there really is something more going on behind the scenes, something we just don't understand?
I get it. It's like we want to believe there's something more to these powerful people, something beyond our comprehension.
Yeah. It's like trying to find a reason for, these big world-changing events.
Absolutely. It's human nature to try and make sense of the unknown, especially when it involves figures as prominent as, well, a former president.
Now, the fact that Seawaring, he's a big name in ufology, and he's the one putting all of this out there on his website, it kind of adds another layer to all of this, doesn't it?
It definitely does. I mean, within the ufology community, just like in any other field, you have different levels of, let's say, credibility.
Okay.
Some researchers are really meticulous. They focus on data analysis, scientific investigation, all of that.
Right.
And then you have others who are more, let's say, speculative. They're more willing to entertain theories that, might not fit with mainstream science.
So where does Seawaring fall on that spectrum?
Well, he's definitely known for his more out there theories, you could say.
Okay.
He doesn't shy away from making bold claims, even if there's not a lot of hard evidence to back them up.
So should we be taking all of this with a grain of salt then?
It's always a good idea to be, let's say, discerning when it comes to these kinds of claims, no matter who's making them.
That's fair.
It's important to remember that not everything you read online, especially in the world of ufology, is necessarily backed by solid evidence.
Right. So after diving into all of this, these sightings, these theories, what do you think is the most important thing for our listeners to take away from all of this?
Well, as much fun as it is to get caught up in these wild theories and speculate about aliens and their potential influence, it's crucial to keep a healthy sense of skepticism.
Okay.
Don't just accept everything you hear at face value. Ask questions, look for evidence, and be willing to challenge your own assumptions.
That's good advice for anything, really, not just UFOs.
You got it?
Well, this has been one heck of a deep dive.
It has.
We've got these UFO sightings, this mind-blowing theory about aliens and Trump, and it just goes to show, I think, how much we're fascinated by the unknown.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Whether we believe in aliens or not, we can't help but wonder if we're alone in the universe.
It's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, if there are other intelligent beings out there, what would they think about someone like Donald Trump?
Mm.
Would they see him as a leader, a threat? I guess that's a question we might never know the answer to. But it's definitely something to ponder as we continue, on our search for answers out there in the vastness of space.
Absolutely. There's still so much we don't know, and that's what makes this whole field so exciting.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating one.
My pleasure. Always a good time exploring these mysteries with you.
And to all of you listening out there, keep those questions coming and keep looking up. You never know what you might see.